Bitcoin has been declining over the past couple of weeks and has actually returned back to the $100,000 mark, which obviously begs the question, what will happen to Bitcoin and where will be the next big bottom? That's what we will try to tell you in this video. Hello and welcome to another video here at Bloomberg Capital. My name is Henrik and today we'll be taking a look at Bitcoin. And if we jump right into the chart, we can see that, yes, of course, while we had a pretty good price rise here in the middle of this large phase here, that was actually quite good with over 60%. Overall, we see nothing really has happened and price is exactly where it was a year ago. And especially here, since it reached the also important $100,000 mark, just roughly here. Ever since this point, really, price first oscillated around this level, then spent a bit of time below it, and now a bit of time above it, but has returned back to this level. And it is quite an important psychological level, because for a lot of investors who got in earlier, before these huge price increases which we saw here, this was a big goal where a lot of people felt ready to get back out of the market again because they achieved their investment goals, which is why, of course, first up here, price started oscillating around this level again. But there are a couple more problems with Bitcoin. On one hand, we have the very, very high hopes that we had in the middle or the beginning of the year, which was a lot of support for crypto coming from the American government, which so far hasn't really panned out, and hope in this direction has decreased quite a bit at this point. And people are actually feeling more frustrated in this direction. On the other hand, we have to think about a very important dynamic of Bitcoin, or generally the whole crypto market, which is that Bitcoin is a lot more leveraged than other assets are, like stocks or precious metals. And that leads to two things. On one hand, if price really isn't going anywhere, like it has done for the past year, then trading with a leverage really is not that great, because I constantly have to pay fees for the borrowed money. And in general, all this up and down is really hurting my position. So as a leverage trader, I really need to be in a trending market or I'm losing quite a bit of money. And also, you lose quite a bit of money in quite rapid sell-offs, as we've seen right here in this very rapid sell-off that has liquidated quite a lot of Bitcoin traders. And after this point, actually quite a lot of traders have been kicked out of the market, have been liquidated, and so have lost interest in continuing to invest into Bitcoin, at least for a little while. So with this coming together, with a lot of people getting kicked out of the market right here, but at the moment there are just other assets which are performing quite a lot better, like for example the precious metals. So for example gold and silver. In the meantime, while Bitcoin has declined or really not done anything, the precious metals have seen quite the big rise. So also a lot of money from crypto is flowing into the precious metals and being invested there. And we should actually see this trend continue, at least for now, with more money flowing out of crypto, at least for a little while. Eventually, of course, investors will come back and we will see new highs. But right now, things are looking a little more negative. So we should actually return back below the $100,000 mark here and actually stay below it for a little bit. The sort of below $90,000 mark should give us a bit of support, which should lead to a bit more of a sideways trend. But then most likely we will see another large sell-off, which will slowly bring us all the way back down, most likely around this previous low here, so around the $47,000 mark. But then at this point, we'll most likely build out a bottom here, from which return back to the $100,000 mark, sort of just continuing the sideways phase, this oscillating around this mark. What happens after we reach this point here is then a bit more uncertain and really is dependent on how price reacts as we reach this level. Because if we actually manage to go back above the $100,000 mark and stay above this level, then this will signal to a lot of investors that Bitcoin sort of is back. A lot of interest will come back into Bitcoin and a lot of investors will jump back into Bitcoin, which would then lead to higher prices. But if price really doesn't manage to get above this level and then maybe starts trending down again, then it will also just strengthen the negative sentiment and lead to falling prices again. So the reaction around this level will tell us quite clearly where price is headed. But what's pretty certain is this first phase here in the price, where this point down here sort of at the start of next year will be a very good opportunity to invest into Bitcoin again and make a profit off of this return to this mark here, which will be about a 35% increase. So certainly quite a good investment opportunity. And if you want to trade this, especially if you want to trade this with some leverage, you have to keep some things in mind. First up, if you still have a leverage position on Bitcoin, then you really should be careful here, because most likely price won't really be doing much here in the next couple of weeks and a larger sell-off is to come. If you not really have a leverage position and you're more looking on the long-term outlook on Bitcoin, then that's fine. But if you have a leverage position, you do have to be very careful here in the coming weeks. And also, if you do want to trade this low here, you shouldn't really be trying to catch a falling knife here, but rather see actually that this low is being built and the price is actually managing to push higher and then jump on this trend. And if you do want a bit help with that, in trying to figure out when best to invest into Bitcoin, then you can actually check out the link down below. There you find a link to our Discord. We offer analysis on over 180 assets, ranging from cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, for example, but also the precious metals, which have been performing quite well, and of course, the larger stock market. So if you're interested in that, check it out down below. And in general, I hope this video was helpful. And until next time, here at Bloomberg Capital.